The courtroom was silent, so silent that even the hum of the projector felt loud, but that silence, it wasn't just about anticipation, it was fear, because what was about to be played wasn't just evidence. It was a time bomb, a single hidden recording powerful enough to tear down a legacy decades in the making. Tension rippled through the air as the prosecutor rose slowly, holding nothing but a USB drive. No stacks of paper, no binders, just a small device, yet everyone in the room could feel it. Something massive was about to unfold. "Your Honor," she said calmly, "the prosecution requests permission to submit new visual evidence." The judge leaned forward, skeptical but intrigued. "What's the nature of this evidence?" The prosecutor didn't blink. A hidden video recorded by Hailey Bieber during a 2018 event at Mr. Combs' residence. A collective gasp broke through the gallery. Even Diddy stiffened. His attorneys whispered frantically, their faces tightening with concern. The judge raised a hand, admitted, "You may proceed." The lights dimmed. A date flashed, May 24th, 2018, 11:43 p.m. It began with a shaky phone camera being slid into a handbag. Hailey's voice whispered. They said no phones. But something doesn't feel right. The scene came into view, a lavish room, dimly lit, filled with influencers, executives, and celebrities, and in the center, Diddy speaking quietly. "No one records, no one talks. What happens in this room stays in this room. If anyone breaks that, they disappear. No one laughed, no one objected, just nods and silence. The clip ended. Darkness held the room in place. No one moved. Then the lights returned, and all eyes turned to Diddy. He gripped the table, his knuckles white. He wasn't the slick mogul anymore. He looked cornered. The prosecutor spoke again, her voice steady. "The footage has been verified by 2 forensic labs. The metadata confirms it was voluntarily submitted by Hailey Bieber." Another gasp. Her name had never been publicly connected. She'd remained quiet until now. Jennifer Lopez, seated quietly in the back, shook her head in disbelief. Paris Jackson wiped tears from her eyes, and Diddy leaned back, closed his eyes, and exhaled. The walls weren't closing in. They were already gone. Then came the second clip. Same night, same hidden phone. Diddy's voice chilling. The model with the cross necklace. "She's recording. If she is, take the phone and dump it. Quietly." A second voice responded, "Copy. Want me to handle it if she resists." "No noise, no problems. Just remind her where she is," gasps. Even the judge's brow furrowed. "This is not about privacy." The prosecutor said, "This is about intimidation, control, and there's more." The next clip came from a coat, button camera chest height, likely worn by a security guard. It showed Diddy pacing in a room tinted red, speaking to 2 seated men. Hailey saw too much in the east hallway. He said, "She's no fool if she talks. Spin it, make her look paranoid." "Should we reach out to her team?" one asked. "No, that's messy. Get someone from her circle to call her, get in her head." The prosecutor faced the jury again. This isn't celebrity behavior. This is psychological warfare. Then the enhanced audio played. Previously unnoticed whispers were now clear. "Diddy, she's not stupid. Her husband's got connections. If she leaks anything, make it look like an accident." A man replied coldly, "Car brake fail, or media spin. Spin first, then smear her. If she talks, we bury her." The gallery erupted. People covered their mouths. A juror dropped her pen. The judge struck the gavel hard. Order. But it was too late. The illusion was gone. Then came the final blow, a synced audio clip hidden in a folder disguised as ambient music. Diddy's voice again. "If they post, flag the video. If they're bold, make them trend for something else. Keep them scared of their own memory. Remind them what they have to lose." The room felt like it had stopped breathing. Reporters froze. Even Diddy's attorneys were silent. "This isn't panic." The prosecutor said, "It's strategy, it's structure," and Hailey didn't just take a risk. She exposed the system. A final document was shown, a transcript of texts recovered from a cloud backup. "Diddy, she took something. I know it. Get it back." Unknown, we'll trace it. Diddy, make her afraid to use it. Gasps echoed again, but the prosecutor wasn't finished. There are more tapes, more victims, some deleted, some buried, but a few survived. And with that, the courtroom was no longer just a room. It was history unfolding. Everything that had protected him, wealth, fame, silence, was unraveling, and it all started with one small, hidden phone. As the courtroom lights slowly brightened again, the spell was broken, but only slightly. People began shifting in their seats, stunned and shaken, the weight of what they had just witnessed still pressing down like fog. The judge leaned forward, voice heavy. This court acknowledges all submitted recordings, metadata, and testimony. The trial will proceed to closing arguments, but no one moved because something irreversible had just happened. This wasn't just a trial about a celebrity scandal anymore. It was about a system, a carefully built empire based on silence, secrecy, and fear, an empire now crumbling in real time, piece by piece. Diddy, once the symbol of untouchable success, now sat motionless. His face was pale, hands clenched, eyes sunken. He wasn't reacting, he was enduring. Every angle of power he had used for decades, every party, every NDA, every whispered threat, had been stripped away by a woman who didn't say a word, just pressed record. And now, as prosecutors pulled up yet another affidavit, this time from a former senior staff member who had coordinated more than 30 of Combs' events, the final layers were falling apart. He knew everything, the staffer testified. The seating, the surveillance, the guests, it wasn't just control, it was calculated psychological manipulation. Gasps again. Jennifer Lopez sat stunned, her head shaking slowly. Paris Jackson whispered to her attorney. Across the room, even media veterans who had seen their fair share of public meltdowns had nothing to type. The room had gone from courtroom to confessional to collapse. The prosecutor's voice rang out again, this time calm but firm. There is no longer a question of if something happened. There is only the question of how many knew and how long they stayed quiet. She turned to the jury. Because Hailey Bieber didn't just record a party, she recorded a system, one designed to make powerful men look like kings and everyone else feel too afraid to speak. Diddy sat in silence, no statement. No eye contact. His lawyers huddled beside him, whispering, flipping through folders like they still believed there might be a loophole left, but there wasn't. Every strategy had failed. The world outside the courthouse was already erupting. News vans streaming footage, pundits scrambling for airtime, hashtags trending globally. But inside the courtroom, it was still, because justice, when it finally arrives, doesn't roar. It walks in quietly, sits in the back, and listens, and this time justice sounded like a woman with a phone hidden in her purse. As the final pieces of evidence were submitted, a text message confirming a coordinated plan to monitor Hailey's social circle, the prosecutor stepped back. No need for theatrics. The evidence had spoken louder than any voice ever could. The judge nodded. We will now prepare for jury deliberation. Chairs scraped quietly. Reporters lifted pens. Some spectators wiped tears. Others just stared. The weight of truth, when fully revealed, doesn't just expose a person. It shatters illusions, and now the illusion that had once protected Diddy, that velvet, gloved aura of untouchability, was gone. In its place, the raw, ugly reality of what had been happening behind closed doors for years. And as the jury filed out, heads bowed and hearts heavy, the world understood something very clearly. The story wasn't just about what Diddy did. It was about who finally had the courage to show it, and in that courage, history changed.